Coming up on News Live at 6, how the Trump administration's federal employee buyout program is impacting jobs right here in Syracuse. The full details ahead.
And the LGBTQ plus community gathers to mourn how they're remembering the lives lost this year.
Plus, a local greenhouse is stemming community in Central New York. Our Abby Tolchin tells us how when News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
A local leader in the medical community has accepted the Trump administration's federal employee buyout offer. Welcome to News Live at 6. I'm Luke Welch.
And I'm Mike Lamorte in for Peter Elliott tonight. The Syracuse VA Medical Center director has now resigned after accepting what many are calling deferred resignation. That's where we find our Grace Elford. Grace, what's the latest with these federal cuts?
Thanks, Luke and Mike. I'm right here outside the Syracuse VA Medical Center, where their director, Michael Murdoch, has just announced that he's resigning in response to Trump's federal buyout offer. The offer was offered to up to 2 million federal employees, and over 40,000 accepted the offer. Murdoch's last day of work will be Friday. In a statement sent to employees today, Murdoch expressed his reason for accepting the offer, saying, quote, "When I saw the email about the fork in the road, I immediately thought of Yogi Berra's famous quote, 'When you come to a fork in the road, take it.' That sentiment resonates deeply with me throughout my life. I've believed everything happens for a reason," end quote. The federal buyout comes as a plan to cut down the size of the federal government. The Syracuse VA hasn't responded much to these claims, to these layoffs, but they said they will not disclose the number of employees that are let go.
Now, Grace, will these cuts have any effect on the health care that is being offered?
Well, and according to a statement put out by the VA themselves, Syracuse VA has dismissed a small number of probationary staff this month. This decision will have no negative impact on veteran health care, benefits, or other services, and will allow VA to focus more effectively on its core mission of serving veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors. Back to you, Luke and Mike.
Grace, thanks so much. We'll be sure to watch that story. Both DPS and SPD are investigating an incident last night where a student was reportedly robbed at gunpoint. Campus police say at around 11:30 p.m., the SU student was walking on Van Buren Street, that's just past BBB, when a man approached him, pulled out a gun, and asked for the student's iPhone and AirPods. The suspect is described as an adult male with long hair. At the time, he was wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, light-colored jeans, and Nike sneakers. If you have any information, DPS encourages you to call the number on your screen now.
Turning now to new details. In the past few months, tragedy has plagued the LGBTQ plus community. In January, a transgender veteran committed suicide here in Syracuse. And then a few weeks later, Sam Nordquist, a transgender man, was beaten and killed in the Finger Lakes region. Our Tyler O'Donnell shows us how allies are uniting together in these trying times.
It's a scary time, but we are here.
Last Sunday, people packed the halls of the CUI Philanthropy Center, and words of encouragement filled the air.
We will not be complicit, and we will not be silent in our own extermination.
A memorial brought together the LGBTQ community, rocked by 2 deaths in the last month, one of which a transgender veteran just outside of SU's campus.
We have come here in solidarity to mourn.
To community organizer Jana Melius, the loss left an impact.
For every death, it breaks my heart a little bit more.
With the help of Sage Upstate and other groups, Melius organized a vigil to honor the lives lost. The message was simple.
That we're here to survive and we refuse to go kicking in the night.
That feeling of survival was seen by countless people. What was supposed to be a simple gathering drew in a crowd so large that extra chairs had to be brought in. Even with the expanded seating, many still had to stand.
We will move forward together and in love.
To Speaker Molly Hammerhand, while the turnout was unexpected, the community's reaction wasn't shocking in the slightest.
As far as I know, this is the first community response to either of these events that we've had here in the Syracuse area immediately. People have been wanting the opportunity to show up in solidarity and to be there for each other.
Brenda Hansen took that opportunity. She's one of the 130,000 veterans across the country who identify as transgender. She believes that events like these are crucial for increasing awareness of her community's issues.
The only way we can get out there is make our own voice heard.
Overall, though, she wants all trans veterans to know they're not alone.
We need the support of our fellow community members and not be afraid of the bigotry from the world around us.
While the loss is still fresh in the mind of many, members of the LGBTQ community continue to move forward and fight for a future of acceptance.
We're here together for each other.
Reporting in Syracuse, Tyler Aldano, Citrus TV News.
Tyler, thanks so much for your coverage. The D'Aneo Institute for Veterans and Military Families at SU is recognizing their first 90 participants to complete the Onward to Opportunity program. In partnership with Micron's IVMF's training allowed service members, veterans, and military spouses to complete semiconductor certification. Micron plans to continue investing in high schools and colleges across the region to create curriculum based on the chip and tech industries.
They were just here yesterday, Luke. Well, the production of King James debuts their show tonight at the Syracuse stage. The show is a celebration of LeBron James and the basketball community.
So you don't have to know a single thing about basketball to enjoy the story, but if you are a basketball fan, you're gonna get so many like insider basketball jokes. There's lingo. I mean, they debate. Here's our like Syracuse claim to fame here. The play actually debates who's the GOAT. Is it LeBron or is it Carmelo? It's great if you're a basketball fan. It's great if you're a theater fan.
The production will run now until March 16th. Tickets can be found on the Syracuse Stage website.
Well, I know where you'll be tonight, Mike. To the latest on the salt shortage nationwide, Cayuga Lake Salt Mine is increasing productions to fight the slow production of the ice-melting mineral. The industry was expecting milder conditions this winter, similar to the trends of recent years. Many counties across the state are still struggling to deal with the shortage, the most happening in Oswego County, where the Office of Emergency Management is working to obtain the necessary supplies for the remaining weeks of winter.
Well, sticking in Oswego County, an international disaster relief group is sending volunteers to the county to help residents clear snow. Many of them still shoveling their property after a week of lake effect snow. 6 volunteers from Team Rubicon will help clear snow for emergency vehicles, vents, meters, and roofs. As of just yesterday, more than 50 structural collapses have been reported. That number, though, expected to rise as many more collapses have been left unreported. A lot of crazy weather, though, going around, Luke, in central New York, especially during this winter season. It's been so cold outside.
I know, but it feels like we're kind of getting past it. I feel like the sun was peeking out yesterday. I saw people in shorts today with the warmer temperatures. I had my windows down. I was blasting some Rex Orange County, so I had a great time. But here to tell us if those warmer temperatures are sticking around is our weather anchor, Chloe Breeze. Chloe, what can you tell us?
Yeah, guys, the warmer temperature is going to be here for at least the next week. I feel like today was the first time I could go outside without a jacket on, and it was amazing. Currently, right now, it's 36 degrees with only about 3-mile-per-hour winds, so it's going to be sticking around that 36. And looking across the region, we're staying in these high 30s and early 40s, too. We have 33 in Fulton and a high of 42 in Elmira, and it's going to be continuing on like that with 39 in Binghamton, 33 in Rome, and even 35 in Cortland. So temperatures are finally starting to warm up. Hopefully we're going to get out of this winter stretch and get into the spring. But looking ahead into tonight, it's going to be about 34 degrees, but it's going to feel like 30 degrees, so not too much of a difference, but I would recommend still wearing a coat outside. We are starting to see those warmer temperatures, but dipping into the night, the wind is going to be a little stronger with 4-mile-per-hour winds. But guys, I'll send it back to you at the desk and have more for you later on.
Looks like it's going to be a cold one, Chloe. Well, inside, west of campus in Lafayette, a family-owned greenhouse is offering more than just growing plants.
Our Abby Tolchin tells us how they're planting the seed to a STEM community in our region.
Watson's greenhouse is a hidden gem behind the owner's house only 18 minutes away from Syracuse. It's open all year round so people can get away from the cold and develop a green thumb at any time of the year. Carol Watson herself inherited the greenhouse from her mother after she passed 2 years ago. Her mother started the greenhouse after retiring from working at a children's nursery in 1981.
We named our soil after her because she wouldn't use another soil. She'd only use the best.
However, this greenhouse is so much more than just a place for plants to grow.
And this year, because of the real cold weather, we also invited them to walk their dogs inside the greenhouse. We do fundraisers. We are part of the community and we like to give back.
The greenhouse is also a place for people to escape.
I suffer from seasonal depression, pretty bad, and it's been gone since I started working here. So it's just really brightened up my spirit just to be here.
As you can see, the sun is shining and it's warm in here. We have the sound of water in the background and we have the smell of beautiful plants all around.
But we do have some incredible assortments, and we have a lot of rare and unusual plants, so there is a reason to come to Lafayette.
Whether you're going to the greenhouse for a little sunlight, some warmth, a nice smell, or a good community, Carol Watson's greenhouse has it all. This is Abby Tolchin reporting for Citrus TV News.
Great reporting there. Governor Kathy Hochul announced new network regulations for behavioral health services. New Yorkers will now have access to an initial appointment within 10 business days of their request. Insurers unable to meet these timeframes will have to offer out-of-network mental health or substance use coverage without increasing the cost for consumers. Hochul says, quote, the Department of Financial Services and the Department of Health will standardize wait times, allow for same cost sharing, and update directories.
After the break, Trump holds his first cabinet meeting of the new administration, the role Elon Musk took in the gathering.
Plus, Ukraine and the United States, they're nearing a deal where both countries currently stand, and when your campus news leader returns.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now, we've got something to say.
Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
You're watching Citrus TV News, live at 6 with Peter Elliott, Luke Welch, and Chloe Breeze. And now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. President Donald Trump's budget bill is officially advancing to the Senate. The motion passed in the House last night in a 217 to 215 vote. Trump talked about the progress on Truth Social this morning, calling it a, quote, big first step win for Speaker Mike Johnson.
What the president called the Big Beautiful Bill pushes for an increase in spending on border security and extensions of his 2017 tax cuts. What it didn't include, though, Trump's promise to cut taxes on overtime pay and tips. Those remain under consideration. Representative Thomas Massey of West Virginia was the only Republican to vote against the bill. Well, sticking with politics here, Elon Musk and President Trump are addressing criticism over the Department of Government Efficiency, laying off thousands of federal workers. Trump held his first cabinet meeting this morning, during which he highlighted the efforts of Elon Musk and Doge.
We talked about it at the top of the show. Musk was first up on the agenda and says that the work of Doge is crucial to the nation's survival.
And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to stack them up, you know. But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
This comes as leaders across multiple federal agencies received a memo today showing them how to prepare for mass layoffs. Well, to the latest on security negotiations continuing between the U.S. and Ukraine, with the country's mineral rights taking a center stage. President Volodymyr Zelensky says that he and members of the Trump administration have discussed funding Ukraine's reconstruction goals using investments in natural resources.
The announcement comes as a stark contrast to previous discussions with Zelensky publicly rejecting President Trump's suggestion for an agreement to mineral rights. Last week, Ukraine held a large supply of graphite and other key materials for creating batteries. President Donald Trump is eyeing a way for people to pay their way into becoming U.S. citizens. He calls it a gold card, and it's his plan for attracting wealthy immigrants to the United States.
Trump says that the program would allow people to buy their citizenship for a price of roughly $5 million. The concept of investing money in a nation's economy for citizenship is nothing new, though, and countries like Spain, Italy, and Portugal all have what are commonly known as, quote, golden passport programs. Well, to new details now. In western Texas, a child who was hospitalized with measles has died. It is the first death from the disease since 2015. The city of Lubbock's health department says that the outbreak has infected at least 124 people and primarily children.
As of today, there have been a total of 18 people hospitalized, and nearly all of those who have reported sick were not vaccinated for the disease. The outbreak has continued to be limited to parts of the Lone Star State bordering New Mexico.
And coming up on News Live at 6, I'll have your 5-day weather forecast. Stick with us.
Meet Norm. He lives with anxiety, but with the help of this latest innovation from Be Normal, he can be normal, just like everyone else. With the swipe of a finger, you can project happiness, confidence, machismo. Why settle for being real when you can be normal? The Normal Maker, new from Be Normal. This item doesn't really work because there's no such thing as normal. We're all different. What we like, how our brains work. In fact, 1 in 5 of us live with mental illness. Don't filter who you are. Start by talking to someone you trust. And remember, there is no.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. Now, if you thought it was time to put your jackets back in the closet, it might not be time yet. Tomorrow on Thursday, we're going to have a high of 46, but unfortunately, we're going to be getting some light rain showers throughout the day with a low of 27. Friday, it's going to be just as cloudy with a high of 31 and a low of 29. And then continuing on Saturday, it's going to be 40 degrees, but unfortunately, again, we're going to get some of that AM snow showers, and into the night, it's going to turn into rain. But moving on to Saturday, it's going to be about 20 degrees with a low of 13. This is when you want to bring back out those jackets, But then on Monday, the great news is that the sun is finally going to come out again. It was amazing this morning seeing that sun shining. I felt like I didn't need a jacket anymore, but we're going to have to bring those back this week. Monday is going to be a high of 32 and a low of 21. But moving on into today, my photo of the day currently walking into the station, it was just when those clouds started covering up the sun again. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture that sun, but this kind of cloudiness is what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the week. But guys, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
Well, Chloe, it looks like I'm going to have to get to the grocery store tonight then. And speaking of, the agricultural department is predicting that the current prices of eggs could continue to soar more than 40% in 2025, after the Trump administration has offered a plan to battle the avian flu, as well as ease the cost of eggs.
Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rowland says the USDA will invest another $1 billion on top of the roughly $2 billion it has already spent battling the bird flu since 2022. Last month was the worst yet for egg farmers, with nearly 19 million egg-laying chickens ordered to be killed.
Well, you know what number is not soaring? That's Syracuse men's basketball 3 points. AJ Myers, what's coming up in sports?
Yeah, Luke, it's been a tough stretch for Syracuse men's and women's basketball. I'll show you where both teams stand in the ACC tournament and why they may not get there on the other side.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Soccer's fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family. Yeah! Oh, I thought you were on my team. Wait.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
It's crunch time for Syracuse men's basketball, but not in the way fans were expecting. Welcome to sports. I'm AJ Myers. The Orange are currently not competing for the top of the ACC standings. In fact, it's the complete opposite. That is the lower half of the conference standings. The bottom three teams, there you see it, the lower half of the conference standings. The bottom three teams do not qualify for the tournament in Charlotte. On this list, Syracuse plays 3 of the teams in its final 4 games of the regular season. Virginia, Virginia Tech, and tonight, NC State. So it just shows how big of a game it is tonight in the Dome. The Wolfpack has endured their own struggles, including a 9-game losing streak at the end of January and into February. The Orange are on their own downhill stream right now, losers of their last 3. Tip-off from the Dome is a little over 30 minutes away. The men's team is definitely in a dry situation right now, but the women's side, it is even worse. Take a glimpse at these standings. The Orange are just above that bottom 3 cut line. Currently, Coach Jack's team is in a 3-way tie, as you see there. The Cuse, they hold the head-to-head advantage over Miami. Meanwhile, Pitt, well, what's that head-to-head advantage? That gets decided tomorrow night in the Dome. It's a simple must-win game for the Orange. But a victory for Syracuse has not been felt since Super Bowl Sunday against Wake Forest. The Orange and Panthers battle at 7 tomorrow. Elsewhere on the Hill, number 5 Syracuse women's lacrosse not used to losing in February, although the Orange dropped yet another game, falling to number 3 Northwestern 12-8 yesterday. The story was all about the return of goaltender Delaney Schweitzer, who spent 3 years with the Orange, totaling up 300 saves. Back in the friendly confines of the Dome yesterday, Schweitzer needed to just make 7 stops. Here's what the grad student had to say about seeing a familiar face.
I think this place is really special to me. The Dome holds a lot of memories, and I was excited to make more memories with the new squad. And I think just coming in here and playing in this sick facility was just like such a cool opportunity to have again. And
the road gets no easier for Syracuse with a visit from number 14 Clemson Saturday. The Tigers, if you remember, swooped up highly rated prospect Alexa Spallina from the Orange. Spallina will not be on the field this weekend, but Clemson is fresh off a win over 11th ranked Notre Dame. Draw time for that one is at noon. Could Juan Soto or Aaron Judge be taking a class at SU? Well, not exactly. Yesterday, Syracuse University and the Major League Baseball Players Association announced a partnership that would allow current and former players to get online degrees, certifications, and credentials. The schools that are participating are the Newhouse School of Public Communications, Falk School of Sports, Whitman School of Management, and the College of Professional Studies.
AJ, it's kind of surprising there that for a school that doesn't have a D1 baseball team that they have this program. But from the Diamondback to the Hardwood, SU men's basketball has 4 conference games ahead of them. 3 of them look winnable. Does SU have what it takes to make the ACC tournament?
It's going to be tough. Like you said, though, 3 of those teams, as you saw on the graphic, they're in the bottom half of the ACC standings. So if the Orange want any shot at going to Charlotte, and of course, you got to win the ACC tournament if they want to make March Madness, which is something that I'm sure many Cuse fans are dreaming of happening. But it's going to be a long shot. But they have 3 very winnable games, and it starts with a win tonight.
Well, quickly, what do you think SU could do differently heading into next season? Obviously, big names coming to the school, Karen Anthony.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is what they do in the offseason. I think that this year the transfer portal was not addressed the right way. A lot of those transfers they brought in haven't quite matched, they haven't quite fit the setup. So that's something they're going to need to address in the
AJ Myers,
offseason.
thank you so much. When we come back, we'll have one last look at your wake-up weather. Stay with us.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos,
There's plenty
but tonight
of time.
he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back into News Live at 6. Now, you might not need your coats tomorrow, but you definitely will need your umbrella. Starting off in the morning when you wake up, it's going to be about 40 degrees, but we're going to see some of those rain showers throughout the day. 12 o'clock, it's going to be going up to 46, highest we've seen in the past few weeks, but again, we're going to be getting some of those rain showers. Best to bring an umbrella with you on your way to work or class. And then wrapping up the day around 6 p.m., it's going to be about 39 degrees, but by that time, we're going to see some PM snow showers starting, so definitely have those umbrellas with you, but I'll send it back to Mike and Luke.
Bring your rain jacket, says Chloe Breeze. Thank you. Well, that's Citrus TV News Live at 6 for this Wednesday.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at Citrus TV News. Now, for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Mike Lamorte.
I'm Luke Welch. Have a great night, Syracuse. Stay dry.